Bite-Size Thursday here at Off Slate Studios, or as we like to call it, Avatar Day. But not that episode yet, because we're still in season 1. Woo!
Yeah.
That's right.
That in book 3?
It's in book 2. I looked it up. It's book 2, episode 5. In case anybody was wondering.
Dickey did his research. Where's the calendar?
Mark this down. It's a joyous day. We got Jake, we got Jared, we got Dickey all here. We're talking about Avatar, The Last Airbender. And if you're watching along with us, we are on episode... I just lost count. 6? 7.
We're still doing this. You say episode every week. You say one because all of us keep thinking the first 2 are one episode.
Oh,
this is every single time. It's what are we on episode 4, 5? Episode 5, 6. Every week. It's because we keep thinking the first 2 were one episode because again that's how they aired. We keep bringing this up every week. It's hilarious.
That's hilarious. I did not realize that I had that wrong the entire time. But okay, episode 7. And this is the Winter Solstice Part 1, correct?
Yes, the Spirit World.
The Spirit. This is a big one. Because this is when he first interacts with the Spirit World.
First time he's in the Spirit World.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know it.
Right. I'm trying to, so I know before
the big panda.
The big panda.
The big panda boy.
Panda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's
like Poe, but Avatar style.
That's right. I don't remember anything else. I think I remember part 2 better than part 1.
Because part 2,
that's where he talks to Roku.
When he's actually on the whole Crescent Island.
And I think that because something where they talk about.
This is the one where Iroh's in the hot tub thing.
Uncle Iroh is He is like. Wait, what crap? What do they call the animals?
He's your spirit world animal.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to.
He is, as the kids would say, a vibe.
He is a whole vibe. He absolutely is.
He embodies the vibe.
God,
He made the vibe.
He did. He did make the vibe. Oh my God, I am so excited to watch this. You guys want to hype this up at all before we get into it, or just dive right in?
Let's dive right in.
All right, let's
take a bite.
This is Greg.
And ladies and gentlemen, we just watched The Winter Solstice Part 1.
The Spirit World.
The Spirit World. This is, I think we've mentioned this coming up to this episode, that this is the turning point. This is where Avatar gets real.
Yeah, the two-parter. Because I think the second part is where more important stuff happens, because this is a setup episode.
It is, but it's still very important because, as you were saying before we watched this episode, this is the first time he goes to the Spirit World.
Yeah.
And, that's a big deal. It's really a big deal to see him.
I think this was also, the end of the first chunk that Nick aired successfully. In succession. There you go. Thank you. Because I remember there being, a mid-season finale, or what they call the mid-season.
Yeah.
And then a long gap, and then they aired the pirate episode, and then they just continued to air the pirate episode for a long time.
Huh.
And we'll get there in a couple weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense though, because I usually want your mid-season finales to be, pretty epic, and this is what an epic way to go out.
But this isn't it.
The next one is. But again, they aired it back to back. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our brains are gonna get all whoo again.
I know. I keep wanting to jump forward and talk about what I think is going to happen next. But, no, this one specifically is very cool because he doesn't... So he didn't actually learn how to interact with the Spirit World, right? It just happened? Because, didn't he just, he was diving down because...
was a concussion. Because man.
He did eat
boom!
Yeah, he was chasing after Sokka after the big bad panda took him away. Which I do... you want to know what the first thing I thought of when I saw the spirit animal that they based the panda? It gave me Studio Ghibli vibes right away. That looks like something that would have came right out of Spirited Away. And I was like, I loved that creature design. Did you guys like that too?
Yeah, I like the panda.
Dude, the panda's so soft and
big
cuddly.
panda boy.
I wanted to see him like Poe. Why can't we get this giant panda doing karate? Skadoosh. That would be pretty great.
There is something I noticed in this episode.
What's that?
Even before, spoiler alert, of course, for book 3, even before Iroh gets jacked, he's still got some good arms on him, too.
Yeah, man.
And the way he throws that boulder, this is the first the first Iroh moment were like the cool Iroh moments, because up until now he's been comic relief mentor for Zuko, and now we get to see him in action.
Yeah.
Is this the first moment in Zuko's arc?
Remember the first we said a couple episodes ago was when he spared Zhao. He said, "Is this the first humanity?"
Yes.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that.
That's
We were watching.
right.
Like, I think this is the second point in his arc where there is humanity there, where he has a choice to make. And it's very quick, but he makes the right choice to save his uncle and not go after the Avatar. Which is funny because if he did go follow Appa, Aang wasn't with. It was just Katara, so Aang wasn't with them at that moment.
I think the audience knowing that makes it more important.
It's so
because
cool,
they know how bad the decision would have been if he'd have made the other decision.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, watching this, I'm like, oh yes, thank you.
He has. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The best cartoon character arc I can think of,
and it mostly comes from the arc is starting to go the way you would expect it to when the turn happens in book 2, and then he makes the wrong decision, and he spends half of that last book.
And again,
trying to come to grips with it, and he just he can't live with himself.
And it's also like, speaking of like the way him, especially him and Iroh. I love the fact that Iroh, it just as he is, he just never bats an eye. He just never worried. Like, he's literally about, like, they are hovering that giant boulder above his hands, about to crush him, and he's just now so nonchalant. Like, he just knows. Like, I love the confidence that exudes from him, and I think that's what Zuko is picking up on.
Also, how strong did that kick have to be
to
break it with the heel of his shoe?
That's a good point.
Remember, it's not about strength; it's about form.
Form. He's teaching us from day one, man. That And this was also the first name drop of Boss. Was this the first name drop?
I think it might be.
Yeah,
it was the first time they called him the Dragon of the West, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because, like, I feel like before this, we think, like, the way they portray him, like, you can tell, like, he's got power behind him. But this is the first time somebody else calls it out. And it's just like, oh, yeah, no, he's the general. Because they also mentioned 600 day?
600 day siege.
They also show his, maybe not for the first time, obviously, because there's always kind of a pretty human-based character, but for one of the first times, they show that the Fire Nation people are or can be different than this war that you see when he says, for 600 days, my men were tired. I was tired. We wanted to go home.
And we know why he was tired.
We don't know
now. Yeah, we know looking back. That's what I'm saying. Like, and now it's like, man, there's more weight to that now because we know the actual reason.
Yeah, watching these first 7 episodes, right? That's right.
7.
Yes.
Watching these first 7 episodes again, you really notice the weight of the groundwork that they're laying for later.
It's so impressive because, like, they, like, before this series started, like, just based off of, like you were saying, like, the groundwork that they lay in this, they knew how they were going to end this when they started it. And I think
for sure.
That's the best way.
We see the first flash of how it's going to end.
That's true. That is true. We get the comet.
The first time the comet is shown. This is an episode of first.
Yeah.
Well, and also what is also striking me about these first 7 episodes is just how much Aang grows across the series. Like, how different he sounds and his approach to speaking over the course of the series. So it's like, I don't really know. Like, I've watched the series a few times. There's usually a big enough gap in between that I forget, like, where he was at the end versus where he is at the beginning. This is close enough to the last time I watched it where I'm like, holy crap, he was just like a little kid. But then at the end of the series, again, spoilers, he is, an adult, basically.
Despite only being like 13.
Yes.
Yeah, he matures a lot.
But like if I recall, you don't even notice it as you're going through in the show. Like, I can't think about a pinpoint moment where it's like, okay, now it's adulting.
That's a good point. Like, it's very impressive the subtle ways they change his character. And I think especially in this one where he said, I'll just figure it out. Like, he didn't have any kind of plan. And I think that he starts to get more and more confidence as he goes on. But in this one, it's so cool to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I'm going to.
I also like that, and I know it's kind of self-explanatory in the type of the nationality that he is within the context of the show, but his first action is never violence.
Yes.
It's never to actually fight. And I think I've said it before. I love that airbending is mostly evasive tactics.
That is,
because air itself can't do a whole lot.
And it's really smart of them to make that the first avatar that they go on, is because like it's always good messaging. Just violence is the first thing he does when he sees that giant monster. He doesn't try hitting it. He doesn't try throwing things at it. He just talks to it, and that's definitely foreshadowing what he's gonna do.
And how does he fix the thing? He gives the thing,
shows it
and the acorn that Katara gave him, which begs the question: was the thing attacking the town before they got there? It was, right?
Because there were other people that it had abducted.
Mm-hmm.
It was angry and just needed someone to calm it down.
I still kind of am curious about where Sokka was.
That's a very valid point.
Because he didn't take them to kill them.
Did they ever answer that, like in the rest of the series?
They just kind of reappear. I wonder.
But he has to use the bathroom.
I wonder. I wonder if there's like a deleted scene somewhere that's like
Sokka running through the spirit world looking for a bathroom.
I mean, I know you would watch that. But,
I would watch that. That would be great.
No, I mean like the bear was like that gives explanation for the bear's actions.
That would be super, super interesting to see, because like obviously like there's so much more about the spirit world that they go into in the future. Like I would be curious to see if they had ideas for Sokka, with anything of that being the first, or not the first of our characters to venture into the spirit world. I would be surprised if they didn't, and they just chopped it out because of either timing or it just didn't match the vibe. I don't know.
It's really weird to talk about this in retrospect when we know
where it goes,
and especially like with the hindsight of Korra, even.
That's what I was thinking.
Because Korra changes this show a little bit, or at least your perspective on it.
Yeah. Also, there's another thing I read online that I'm not gonna go into enough because I don't remember how it worded it, but there's some kind of theory on how Iroh can see Aang on Roku's dragon.
That's right.
I can't remember what it was. I'm bringing it up because then listeners can just probably Google it. It's probably on Reddit or something.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I remember seeing it, and it's like, and then because, of course, spoiler for Korra, Iroh's in the spirit world, so he has some kind of spiritual connection, and I can't remember why, but I remember there was something about it that said like, there's a reason why he's in the spirit world in Korra, and why in this he saw Aang on Roku's dragon.
Well,
it's a great little moment too because he sees it, no one else does.
I know. I was so glad you brought that. I forgot about that. I'm glad you.
Did he have a facial expression that was kind of like, "Oh, they can't see it. It's only me."
He might.
I feel like he did.
I think he was just surprised that he saw that. He saw because like I'm assuming he would know the dragon is
Roku's dragon.
Thank you, Roku. Yeah, he would know that.
He's
right?
related to Roku, right? In that family's related to Roku somehow, right? I can't remember how.
He's Zuko's great grandfather.
Roku
Okay.
is?
Sorry, grandfather, just grandfather.
Roku is?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, then he would
Through his mom, right?
Wait, is it?
Or is it uncle?
Yeah, it's Zuko.
Because Iroh is Zuko's uncle.
Isn't it like great uncle or something? Like great uncle.
No,
it's just his dad's brother, right? Isn't Iroh just?
no, it's not his dad's brother.
No, but like, how
it's
is
his
Roku,
grandfather.
Yep.
He is Azula's, not Azula. Ursa's mother or father.
Okay.
No, wait. How do they work?
You see what I'm trying to say? They're somehow related.
I should have looked that up. I would have been.
And I think it's through Zuko's mother that she's related to Roku. I can't remember how.
Okay.
We should have looked this
I
up.
was saying, I feel
just
like this
thought
would
of
have
it.
been
It's
something to know. Because that's interesting. Well,
this is a part 1, so part 2 will answer more of the Roku stuff. Maybe I can't.
That's
remember
true.
Where.
It probably will.
I can't remember. Ursa is the granddaughter of Roku.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else we want to talk about the Winter Solstice Part 1?
Can we just watch the second one now?
Let's just run into this. So before we watch the second one, before we jump into the next episode, you guys want to follow us? Where can they follow us, Jared?
They can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, funny TikTok, and Twitter if it's still around. They can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and hey, on YouTube, like, subscribe, ring our bell, comment, rate us on all those apps, and check out our groovy website.
Absolutely. And make sure to stay tuned. Again, we're watching next Winter Solstice Part 2 next week. Keep watching along. It's a good time. We're going to keep theorizing. And also, we have more content, too. So, from all of us here at All Slate Media, thank you for listening to today's episode. We will see you next time. And don't forget to...
take a bite.